We're starting off high.
We can get
I
a two fools agree on that one. Oh, by the way, look, we got the wide shot.
There was you had accountability. Now what I can
Now all you need is a podcast and a YouTube channel.
No, not even.
Where give me the money. Show me the money.
Apparently there's a Foolproof page.
Shoot the J. Shoot it. Live at Facebook.com/Foolproof Entertainment Network. I need you on Twitter. I need you to repost the Facebook pages.
To raise a human before I would
Trust a human to raise back wolves.
before I would trust a pack of humans to raise a wolf.
Right. I hear you.
Just cut out on me.
Yo, what up, fools? Welcome to another edition of Do Fools Agree. As always, I'm your host, Michael Reggie, here with my interrupted co-host, Clifford Jordan Jennings.
Listen, that's what happened when the headphones go out. My shit was out for like 30 seconds before you said that. I was like, what's going on?
What you doing, Bluetooth?
No, I'm the same thing I do every week. Shit, I'm plugged up. You know, I'm a hardwired kind of nigga.
Oh, man. What is going on, sir?
You know, another week.
Yeah, it was definitely a week. And I'm going to leave it at that today.
I mean, I counted. It was 7 days, so.
It's true. It's true. It's been 7 days since we last talked.
We did them. We did them all, I think.
We did get through it. I'm trying to think if there was anything that really went on this week. Let's see.
Anything that went on?
I don't even really have any A-Reg like sports news because he didn't. Did he have a game Tuesday? He might have had a game Tuesday. Oh, he did have a soccer game Tuesday, and he had 3 or 4 little diving saves. Or no, that was last week. So no, he didn't have shit this week. His game's tomorrow.
Well, forget A-Reg. My Cavs got knocked out of the damn playoffs.
You know what's painful is my boss is a Celtics fan.
For real?
Yeah, and he went to 2 games. Maybe just one. I think he went to one of the playoff games.
That's what's up.
Up there in Cleveland.
Yeah, that's what's up.
Rocking
Man,
his
I was
gold
upset.
chain.
I was upset about. I mean, I really wasn't upset, but I'm happy to see a new Cavaliers team.
Yeah.
Not to talk too much sports, but my guy Donovan Mitchell, he didn't fit on the squad. Like, I know everybody loved him. He was a big high point scorer, but he didn't fit on the squad.
Hey, wait a minute. We got somebody out in the chat that we ain't seen in a minute.
Who?
Is it Donovan?
Who's Donovan?
Wasn't he a fan from like a year ago? We looked to send him a shirt and everything.
Oh, is that who that was? He threw me off.
It threw me off seeing the name
Donovan.
there. What's going on, sir?
Familiar. Oh, yeah, I do remember little Don. What's happening?
Oh, man. So you talking sports. What about Miss Caitlin Clark blowing up on TikTok, getting murdered on the court, just beat up?
I figured that was going to happen. Was going to happen. And it's not because I'm like, I don't want to see her succeed. That's not at all the case. But
no, when you come in as hot shit, people are going to try to put you in your
they're
place.
gunning for you. And my whole thing is this, right? Like, it
took a white girl to get eyes on the WNBA.
Yeah, no, never would have thought. You know, but I mean, we've seen it with Diana Rossi or not Ross, Diana. What the fuck is her name?
I don't know, man.
The little white point guard that came out. She was the first Caitlin Clark.
Gotcha.
You've seen it with her, so I mean, it's not shocking, but I mean, as much buzz as she's gotten, it's not a shocking thing to me. My whole thing is you're the most polarizing player that the WNBA has ever seen.
Well, you need that. You got to have a
Now,
villain
here's
or
the
an
thing
underdog.
though. Here's the thing though. Her contract is trash. Like,
well, that doesn't surprise me. Salaries
yeah,
in the WNBA, rookie contract, like
I get all that, right? I get that you don't make the funds of the NBA, so you can't play the top players what they deserve and all that. But if I'm the best woman basketball player in the world, I'm not playing any years for $80,000.
yeah.
Not 1 year I'll play for $80,000. I don't care if y'all can't afford it. You better find it.
But here's the deal: is yes, 80,000 salary. You don't think she's making 3 times that in endorsement deals?
For sure. But that's the thing. It almost reminds me of an average employee situation where it's like, you don't value what I do for you, huh?
Right.
You don't know that I'm gonna double your viewership this year, huh?
Which I bet I'd be willing to bet in 3 games played. I bet you she has.
and what I'm saying is, you know that I know that. So you know that I know I'm bringing more of a value to this league than just my skill on the court. I'm bringing viewers with me.
But that's the problem, is that you need to bring the viewers before you can get the pay.
See, and that's exactly why I said she fucked up. Because what I would have did was I would have took the fight like the little guy. I would have did it for the little guy, and I would have accepted either Ice Cube's offer for the 3.5. I think he even raised it up to 5 million to play in the big 3. I'd play for 1 year. Give me that cash just because you're not paying me enough. Yeah. I'm going to take my talents to somewhere that appreciates me. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to track the increase that takes place in the big 3 while I'm in it. And I'm going to track what happens with your WNBA, and then I'm going to come back to you after I've made my 3.5 mil and all the endorsements money that I already had, say, look at the changes I'm making, give me something worth talking about.
In theory,
or I'm going back.
And I don't know the ratings with her in the NCAA tournament versus 2-3 years ago with the UConn women.
Like, with not Skylar, was it Skylar Diggins on that?
Maybe
on that squad.
But it would be. I'd be curious. I'd be curious to see that though.
Yeah, Skylar was already in there. Who was it? It was. I can't remember. Now I'm just thinking.
I'm impressed that you've been able to name this many WNBA players, because other than Caitlin Clark, I couldn't name a single one right now.
Oh yeah, I know a lot of WNBA players. I don't watch it as much. I watch more women's college basketball.
Gotcha.
So I usually know the players from seeing them in college as opposed to watching them in the league. And now we were talking about that on the show last week. Where do you even watch a WNBA game?
Streaming.
You know what I honestly, and don't get me wrong, like now that Caitlin's there, I know that they have more deals to where they will be on regular TV a lot more now. But if you're playing at 3:00, then I'm not gonna watch it anyway. You know what I'm saying? Like, you need prime time slots.
Here's the other thing. When's the WNBA season? It runs like now through September.
Yeah, they usually start as the men are coming to an end because they go beyond the men's basketball.
Well, and what's smart is their only competition in the summer really is baseball.
Right, we talked about that too.
Yeah,
we talked about that
too.
So.
Baseball has fallen so far as America's pastime or whatever.
Hopefully, that gives them those prime baseball time slots, because there's nothing worse. I don't care what nobody says. I don't care if you are a true baseball fan. There is nothing worse than flipping the sports channels on like a Friday evening,
only seeing baseball,
and it's baseball on every fucking one, and you're like, what the?
We ain't got hockey. Well, at least now
something like, give me a fucking cornhole tournament. I don't care. Give me something other than baseball.
Well, I'll tell you what. The last 2 weekends that I've gone to like East Market for lunch or drinks in the evening, the UFL's been on.
Oh, for real?
And I've been watching it a little bit.
Yeah, I'm not against that either. I'm definitely not against watching that either. And I would kind of like to see what kind of product that they're offering this year.
I mean, it's interesting. Like, I feel like it's a heavier run game. You don't
See,
have quite the prolific passing that you see in the NFL.
right.
So, probably
I mean,
because any
that's
quarterback worth their salt already went to the NFL because,
that's to be expected. I would imagine that league is producing a lot of NFL DBs.
yeah.
Because the quarterbacks are less than, the wide receivers aren't as fast or shifty like the league. I'm sure you have a few of them that
Right.
are league ready, but for the most part, I can show out. Like, you're not
Yeah.
going to do nothing to me.
No, I agree with that.
But in the league, that same guy that you might be locked down in the UFL is probably going to get cooked. You know
Once or
what I'm
twice.
saying? I might be on the lockdown, your no names here, but you put me on Devontae Adams or Tyreek Hill, and I'm just gonna stand there and turn around and look like, oh shit, couldn't keep up with him. I don't know. That's on you, safety. I'm playing the flats. Screen's done.
Cover 2 corner.
Right.
How do you hide a player on defense? Well, you put him at corner in cover 2.
Yeah. Yeah, but you can still expose him though.
Oh, you can. I'm talking about high school where you don't have a choice.
Yeah. Well, I don't know though. I feel like it's easier, and this is just my opinion. It's easier to hide somebody at one of those like outside linebacker spots.
If you have a stud defensive end and a stud safety behind him.
Right. Or even a decent middle.
Yeah.
Because if the middle is decent and we're hiding my left outside, then I can cheat to the left and still cover.
Yeah, you can cheat outside and
my zone.
And you can just be a force player and force everything back inside in the run game.
Right.
That's fair.
But safety, corner, shit, you on an island, baby. Either way you look at it, even in that cover 2.
Well, in a cover 2, then your responsibility again is to funnel everything inside. All you have to do is maintain outside leverage.
Now, I'm
second
just
you
bring
cheat
you out your
inside
zone.
is when you get fucked.
Yeah, I'm gonna just bring you out your zone. I'm gonna make sure you have to pass off every wide receiver to the safety or to the linebacker, and that's gonna be my diversion. You're gonna get a screen out the backfield.
Yeah.
I'm gonna pull my tackle, and I'm gonna make sure I punish that weak player on the field.
No doubt.
Don't be here.
No doubt.
But I'm no Lombardi.
All right, enough sports. You got any inadvertents to get us going?
I do. Did you watch that Terrence Crawford video that I sent you? I sent it to your text messages.
Oh.
And it's like a half an hour long.
No, so go for it.
I don't even know if
you mean Terrence Howard?
What did I say?
Terrence Crawford. I'm like,
oh,
no.
Terrence Howard. Yeah, that's what I meant.
Those are 2 different people there, Mr. Jennings.
You got sports in my mind now. You said the wrong name and everything. Yeah, Terrence Howard. Did you watch that?
Yeah, I did.
First of all, okay, this isn't my inadvertent thought, but first of all, why isn't he dead?
What do you mean?
Like, why haven't they killed him? I'm sorry.
Don't put that
why haven't they unalived him yet?
Why? Because he's sharing too much information?
Yes, and you're telling people what you have been working on.
Right.
Because essentially, if what you have been working on is a success, you've just wiped out the whole big pharma.
Well, and he also he is in like the UAP control right now, meaning all they've done is discredit him.
You know what?
Like they've made him look like a crazy dude.
Yeah, it's interesting that you say that because this is the first. You're right. That's the first step. The first step is discredit, right?
Right.
If that don't work, the second step becomes sabotage along the way. Mm-hmm. Try to fuck up that machine before he gets it off the ground. If that doesn't work, the third step is helicopter crash.
Right. Or
we know what it is, you know what I'm saying?
Unaliving himself.
Right. Or suicide by shot to the back of the head.
Right. It's amazing how many people die by suicide to the back of the head.
You know what I'm saying? That just it baffles me.
It's wild.
And I feel like people need to be held accountable, even the people reporting on it.
Oh, yeah.
Because if you're reporting on some dumb shit, like you just know that you think that we don't know what really happened there, and you're reporting on it as if we're just dumb as fuck, then you're just as guilty as the guilty party because you're essentially helping them try to sweep it under the rug.
Absolutely.
So
but that's the thing.
Need to hold these motherfuckers accountable.
But that's what we've said. We've both said for multiple years now. And I have come more and more to your side on it.
About what?
The media is fucking controlled by those that are in power.
Right. And see, that's what I'm saying. The media has no choice but to be public figures. So if you start holding them accountable,
right,
like you start treating them like they're the murderers as well, you're going to see a lot of motherfuckers that's like, I'm not reporting on that.
I'm not doing this anymore.
Yeah, that story, you got to find somebody else for. I'm not saying that. And then that's going to be the first step to them coming back to actual truth and reality. But to be honest, I think the powers that be have set the agenda in play, and we're too far gone that it won't go back to regular reality.
No, I think you're right. And I think from that standpoint, what I have found, well, and this kind of will dovetail into, we're finally starting to see like corporations basically recognize that people are fed up and we're not doing it anymore. McDonald's posted a loss. Starbucks posted a loss. Like, Target is posting losses. Like, major corporations that have been, you know, the go-to American corporate parties are getting shunned right now, and I am here for it.
But I am too. It started with the celebrities.
Right.
It's crazy how social media is just the devil and can get shit done at the same time. You know what I'm saying? Like, people started blocking celebrities and motherfuckers was jacking off to the way that their numbers was going down.
Right.
And then all of a sudden, everybody got a light bulb and was like, wait, we can do this to corporations too. That's what motherfuckers was trying to tell you for years. For years.
All right, keep it going. I got to go check something real quick.
Okay. That shit just don't make sense to me. It's like you keep your ears closed until it's too late. And you know what? I guess, you know, the good book says that most of us do, and I'd be guilty to say that I don't too. Procrastination is a human trait, but I mean, when it comes down to your livelihood, like you out there working 5-6 days a week, bringing home barely 600 for the days you worked, and then turning around and spending 30 on McDonald's. That's a good percentage of your check. Just that $30 on some shit that don't even, it's not even good. It's not even good anymore. Like, if the conspiracies are true and they like, these motherfuckers has been chopping up human meat inside. Well, you don't have the good humans anymore. I'm going to need you to go back to the old recipe that you was using. You hear what I'm saying?
Need you to ground that up a little bit better.
The hell? Because it doesn't make sense. It's not even good. And then you're just raising the price I don't get it. I don't get it.
Well, and the thing is that, and I think we've talked about this on the show, 54% of inflation over the last 2 years. Completely driven by corporate profit. It's not the cost of goods. It's not the supply chain. It's not higher wages. It is straight profit for these companies, and they have gouged and gouged and gouged, and now they're starting to see the effects of it.
Yeah, I agree.
The problem is that when those prices go down, are we going back to them? I hope not.
Probably, but certain people will, certain people won't. You know what I'm saying? And then now you got places that are actually waking up. Like, actually waking up to the situation and illegalizing a lot of the things that they use or put in their foods. And it's like, well, even if you lower the prices, now you can't serve there.
Well, and I think that that's the whole reason why RFK is so intriguing to me, Like, one of his big platforms is to get chemicals out of our food.
Right.
Get extra sugar out of our food. Like,
right.
And people can, knock him for his, suspicions about COVID, his, I don't even remember the other things that supposedly have been attributed to him in terms of conspiracy theories, but, like, he's the only one talking about doing fucking anything for us.
Well, that's not even, no, it's not even conspiracy. I'm so sick of this COVID shit and the vaccine and all that. You got countries illegalizing that vaccine. Japan just made it illegal to give COVID vaccines anymore. Those aren't conspiracies.
Right. At that point, they're not.
And then you got the delusional people in the United States that get brainwashed by everything that they watch and agree with, that are like, nah, but everybody needs to get vaxxed and it'll be a safer for who?
Right.
If you don't die from it.
All that does is create the next superbug. Period. Even if it's doing what it's supposed to do, that is not even looking at the quote unquote conspiracy side of it being, long-term health consequences or the impact that it has on children or, whatever else they say about vaccines. Like, even if it's doing what it's supposed to do strictly, all you're giving rise to is the next virus that can overcome it.
Right.
And they will only get progressively worse.
Listen,
and the predictions have been that somewhere between 2029 and 2031, we're going to get hit with
COVID
something
times 10.
Right.
And it's going to be more lethal, more deadly, all that.
Yep.
But the question is, to who?
Right, who's left?
Now, I ain't saying that. I'm saying it's going to be lethal. It's going to be deadly. We get that, right? COVID was, quote unquote, was, but
I mean, I honestly think we should just continuously send people with COVID to our Congress, to our House of Representatives. Like, we need to clear out these, 60 plus, 70 plus year olds that are standing in the way of progress.
This nigga said Malcolm X him with an airborne virus. That's crazy. On the podium, going cough in front of them. Excuse me, my time is not up, Senator. That is crazy. That's crazy.
Speaking of crazy, did you see this House of Representatives session last night?
Hell no, I don't give a fuck nor care to watch none of that.
All right, well, we're gonna play an excerpt.
Excerpt from what was it?
The House of Representatives talking about something last night.
Know what we're here for? We're here about
I
don't
think you know what you're here for.
Well, you the one talking about.
I think your fake eyelashes are messing up.
No, ain't nothing.
Hold on.
Listen.
And I would like to move to take down Ms. Green's words.
AOC, always
that is
classy.
absolutely unacceptable. How dare you attack
Meeting will
the
suspend,
physical
meeting will
appearance of another
suspend.
person?
Are your feelings hurt?
Her words down.
Aw.
Oh, girl, baby girl.
Oh, really?
Don't even play,
Baby girl? I don't think
we are
so.
gonna move and we're gonna take your words down.
I'm just curious, just to better understand your ruling. If someone on this committee then starts talking about somebody's bleach blonde, bad built butch body, that would not be engaging in personalities, correct?
What now?
Calm down.
No,
Can you please calm down?
Don't tell me to calm down.
Calm down.
Because y'all talk
calm
noise,
down.
and then
You're
can't
out of
take
control.
Because if I
Look,
come,
Chairman,
if I
can
come
we
and
send
talk
out- take a
about
break
her,
for 5
y'all
minutes?
gonna have a problem.
They staged a vote as to whether to kick.
Yo, politics are wild. That is Representative Jasmine Crockett out of Texas, Dallas. Of course, it's Marjorie Taylor Greene.
I knew as
she's
soon as she
referring
said the fake eyelashes, I said, oh, shit.
This shit's about to go wild.
Because you don't do that. Don't do that. Because if you do that, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that if you ain't on Congress.
I think this just shows that, like, we should be running for Ohio House of Representatives.
It just shows that these motherfuckers are clowns. It don't matter where they're from. You're a clown. You're a high school kid. You're a fucking... like, how are you supposed to be managing the welfare of the country.
Right.
If you're arguing over fucking bleach blonde hair and eyelashes, like y'all are fucking clowns.
No doubt. No doubt. And AOC trying to be the voice of reason. I love her. I'm sorry. I do. Man.
Yeah, and she didn't care that AOC was on her side. She was like, nah, bitch, I'm gonna get this off.
I got this.
You dyke built bad hair. Yeah, that's exactly what that was. That's exactly what that was. But it don't make you want to vote for none of them other things either. Now, does it? But I guarantee you Congress's is different. It's just them talking about how little, or the Senate, it's just them talking about how little they dicks is or dry they pussy is and how big they bank account is on that side. Instead of eyelashes and bleach blonde hair, it would have been IRAs, and you don't even have your money in the proper fucking stock exchange, you broke bitch. You ain't making no bread.
So what's interesting on that is about 4 months ago, I've been doing the Robin Hood thing or whatever, right?
I still got like $90-something stuck on there that I can't get out.
So my average rate of return prior to, we'll call it 6 months ago, I was making about 20%. Like 20% yield.
On what you, right, okay.
On what I was investing in.
Right.
I started buying stocks that senators were buying and people on representatives were buying. I went up to 45% return.
I was about to say that too. I was about to say that exactly. I was about to say, I know you jumped to at least 40.
I was up as high as 60% until the market tanked kind of the last 2 days.
Yeah, and GameStop and AMC came right back. That V for Vendetta mask popped up on everybody's screen. And they was like, wait, what's this mean? And they looked at the stock exchange and was like, oh, you son of a bitch.
Remember the 5th of November.
That shit is crazy. You know what I'm saying? That's exactly what took place.
Have you seen this dude on TikTok that has basically proven that all the major hedge funds are manipulating the stock through basically a crypto algorithm, and like they are able to move money across mass portfolios like at the drop of a hat based on kind of whatever the fuck they want to do?
Listen, if they prove it, lock all them hoes up. What you did to Martha Stewart could have been criminal. And y'all doing this?
Right.
How long was she in boot camp? Because you wasn't in jail, but they called it a jail. But we know she had
long enough to get friendly with Snoop.
But we know she had a balcony on her cell. So how long was she in this boot camp?
Oh man,
I know it was years. I know that for a fact. I know she did at least 3.
It was probably 3 to 5. She was probably out in 2.5.
That's right. That sounds about right. That actually does sound about right. But I'm saying either way, multiple years ain't hard time.
Right.
And a balcony's not hard time. But it doesn't matter if they put you up at the 4 Seasons. If they make you stay there for 2.5 years, you'll start to get a little wonky in the head.
Yep.
So either way, they made this woman stay in jail from hearing a tip that she got from somebody.
Well, we still cared about things like that back then.
Man, and who said, see, that's the thing, is who is the we who stopped caring about it? Right? Like, the people didn't really give a fuck. All the people was ever saying was, can we get a tip on what's going on?
Well, it was, I mean, honestly, it's the fact that some of it is tied to Citizens United and the amount of corporate dollars that are in play now. And some of
I don't know what Citizens United is. What is that, like a Help a Kid Foundation?
No, it is basically what has allowed big money to stay in politics. Like, you weren't allowed to get certain dollar figures from corporations. Like, we fought that and lost. And so now,
what's the name of this?
Citizens United. It was
Citizens United.
Yeah, it was complete bullshit. It had nothing to do with citizens uniting. It had to do with big corporations being able to basically back channel large amounts of funds to political parties and to
See what
political
happened when
candidates.
you ignorant to it? And I mean, what could you do? Even if I knew about it, it ain't like I could stop it. So who
Right.
gives a fuck?
Right.
But
that's why like the whole disclosure thing over UFOs, UAPs.
That goes to that too?
It's the defense contractors putting massive money in the pockets of people that can block resolutions like Chuck Schumer's bill that was supposed to enable disclosure.
Was that you that sent me that?
It was probably Gordon, but maybe.
No, because Gordon only ever sends stuff to the chat, and I
chat.
don't look at it anymore. Because if I see another UFO financial, I'm gonna.
Oh, so that's just for Gordon and I now.
Yeah, that's y'all's chat. I know Shelby ain't been in it for years, so at this point, I'm out of it myself. I don't even check that chat anymore. If I'm being honest.
It's not been active in like the last couple of weeks.
Like I like where Gordon's head is, but like the videos, like it's like all aliens, all finance, and I feel like it's like the Kendrick Drake. If I even hear y'all's name again, I'm gonna put my own beef track. I'm so sick of hearing these bitches' names. I don't know what to do.
Right.
I don't even want to hear the music. I'm sick of you.
I did listen to
You're Kevin Hart and yourself.
I did listen to the latest Kendrick track.
That They Not Like Us?
Yeah.
That shit hot. I ain't gonna lie. That shit hot.
What did he say? He said, Drake singing a chord, I bet you is a minor.
A minor.
A minor.
That's crazy.
Like,
But did you see the black dude? Did you see the black dude that was like A minor? He said it was like one of them realization clips, and he ran to the piano and he's like A minor. He said, "This is A major. This is A minor. There are no black keys in A minor. There are no black keys in A." That shit was funny as fuck. He said he dissed him twice, y'all. He dissed him twice. That shit was funny. That shit was funny as hell.
Oh man.
And you know Kendrick wasn't thinking nothing about that. He ain't played a piano in his life unless it was hooked up to a beat machine.
Right.
This motherfucker don't know an A minor, don't got no white keys, but the internet investigators get a hold of it and be like, oh, he's a genius.
He's a genius.
He did it all. He covered everything. Nah, nigga, you looking too deep into shit. But I don't care. I laughed out loud when he said that, though. He fell out on the couch like, there's no black keys in A minor. There's no black keys in A minor.
That's reminded me of the dude that I've seen a lot lately. I can't remember the dude's name, but he's either African or he's pretending to be African, and it's
the one dude
the
that does
Lulu.
the interviews.
No, he doesn't do the interviees.
Okay,
he always
I thought it was the dude I seen.
He always doubles with another video where he's like, "Okay, let's see what we have here." You are the Lulu.
Oh no, that dude. Man. Oh, I didn't even finish my introvert.
Oh, well, let's circle back.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm tripping. Terrence Crawford. My introvert wasn't why they haven't got at him yet. My whole thing is, okay, so he was basically saying that he confirmed what we've always known, that the body is made up of frequencies and heals itself through frequencies. So he's coming up, I can't remember what the name of the machine that he said, but like a frequency atomizer or something like that he would focus frequencies to regenerate your cells back. And remember, we talked a little bit about it last week, how they've changed us from that, cymatic window
from 432 to like 440.
Right. And now we look like cancer cells on the inside where nothing makes sense, but we used to be very patternish. So his machine basically puts you back into the right frequency. But we know that we had things naturally throughout time that did that for us, like bells, like church bells, which is why all the churches had a bell tower and the government made everybody take them down. There was a whole bunch of things naturally that would put us back into a line with our proper frequency. Now, he said that light does this as well, and music also does this.
Yeah.
So then I thought to myself, right, and this is where my inadvert comes in, is okay, so if you're listening, because remember I said I was trying to look for the 440 hertz music.
This was last week. I told you I listened to the 432 hertz, and it didn't.
And it
feel
threw
good.
you off.
Yeah.
Right.
Put me in a weird
And I told
space.
you that if you haven't had it for anything natural, it's going to not feel right until you get it back. But my whole thing is this. Just listening to the music, is that enough to change your frequencies back? Or do you actually need the frequency to go through your body?
So
you understand what I'm saying? Because going through your eardrums is one thing, but you're not feeling anything through your actual body.
You turn it up. You turn it up enough. Right. You turn it up enough, you'll feel the vibrations.
And that's what I was saying. So headphones probably would not be the best idea.
No.
When trying to align yourself with the right frequency, you would need like a system or a stereo. And blast that shit to the point that you hear it in your ears, your body feels the vibrations and all that.
And I actually wonder if that's to that point, like, now you have me curious about if it was just because I was listening on my phone.
And see, that's the thing. If you just listen on your phone, like I would think at least the headphones.
You would need something with a subwoofer.
And even if it's not, I would think almost headphones would be like mainlining a frequency because you're putting it directly into your brain, but it's still not hitting your body, and your body is usually where most of the fight takes place.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, unless you got
legit.
brain cancer or like a what do they call it? Like a disparity in your chemical balance in your brain. I don't think listening in your headphones is going to help.
Yeah.
You need something that's going to attack where all of the problems happen. And that's usually gut, liver, kidneys. You know what I'm saying? Like almost like, so what would happen if you listened like with like a portable speaker and placed it on the area that you wanted the frequencies to change at? Like that seems like that would be more of a benefit than just listening to it loud in your headphones.
No, I think that there's validity to that comment. Like, if frequencies really are healing, then to your point, you need your body to be absorbed in them, not to have it focused in one area.
Yeah, because I feel like the brain's not an issue. You know what I'm saying? And like frequencies, I don't know. You know, I'm not an ancient Egyptian or Terrence Howard or Crawford, but I wouldn't imagine. Hold up, where was I at?
You wouldn't imagine.
The government just shut me off.
They flashy thinged you.
Yeah, they shut me off for sure because I was just about to spit it out, and I feel like everything just went blank. What were we talking about before?
We were talking about frequencies, putting them on, like making sure your whole body was in it, not just your brain.
Right.
Yeah, that was.
And I remember saying I'm not no Egyptian, you know, ancient Egyptian or but. So okay, I know what I was getting at. I just can't
articulate it the same way.
I can't do it right, and that's what I wanted to hit that punchline, but I can't. But what I'm getting at is back in the day, we know that they had those, you know, I don't know what they called them, but the spots in the pyramids with the slabs on them that they found out, they thought they were sarcophaguses, but they found out that nothing was in them. And what they realized is that the room had perfect pitch from the point of that slab in the middle of the room. Yeah. So what they would do is lay sick people, cancer, whatever you had on the slab, and then they would play frequencies throughout the room. And they said that sometimes, I don't, you know, if this is a myth or whatever, they said sometimes they would get so strong that the people would actually levitate off of the slab while they were, like filling the frequencies. And then once they stopped it, most of the time the people was cured of,
whatever.
their shit. So it's like, how devilish our world, our country, whatever you want to call it is if you know that information and they know that information, you would choose to lower the frequency to take us further off of our norm just to benefit off of the money we have to pay to get better.
Well, why do you think Big Pharma and Big Agro are in the same camp?
I know this is wild to say, but it almost makes you feel like Russia's right.
It's funny you say that.
Russia's right. They're the right ones out of all this, and we've been the devils for years. Not us as in its people, but us as in the powers that control this country.
Well, and it's funny you say that, because who has been anti-Israel, especially during this most recent conflict? And Russia and China.
But that's only because and China has no business being in that group. The only reason why Russia and Iran and all them are allowing China in there is because they're the second biggest power that the world has, and they need them.
Yeah.
But let's keep it a buck. Russia from the jump was like, just leave us alone. You know what I'm saying? Just let us do us. But then Ukraine broke off, and then NATO started pushing up into Ukraine, and Russia was like, nah, we seen this coming a mile away. Y'all keep coming, and we're going to have to defend ourselves. And what they do, they kept coming, kept poking the bear, just like they do with the citizens of the country. Like, how far can we go before they actually push back? And Russia was like, fuck it. I told you, don't take another step. You took another step. I'm about to shoot.
Right.
That doesn't make them wrong. Same very thing happens in Palestine. We offered you, Israel, a place on our land. And you encroach and you take over, and you encroach and you take over, all the way to the point, now the Palestinians are the American people, to the point that you have allowed them to encroach so much, you're now the weaker one in the situation.
Right.
Now you have to have little side groups help y'all out, like Hamas and all y'all's little, you know what I'm saying? And people are labeling Palestine Hamas. No, that's just a subsidiary.
Right.
Someone helping because they feel the same way. But what you've done to its people is crazy.
Well,
so while you saying we can't be anti-Semitic, and nobody wants to be, but being anti-Semitic is criticizing Israel, then what the fuck did y'all do to the people of Palestine? Because you just now turned them into Hamas.
Yep.
But before they weren't. Before they were just your weak motherfuckers that you was trying to take over, and they decided to say, you know what? Hold up. We're going Russia. You've done too much. I don't blame any of them.
Right.
I don't blame either of them. I damn sure don't look at Russia as an enemy like the United States been painting them for years. It almost seems like it's vice versa. Like we're the enemy.
We are not the good guys.
You know what I'm saying?
And it sucks when you realize that you're not the good guys anymore.
And you brainwash us with patriotism, which we should have had. But if we did it right, all of us would have had it.
Right.
White, black, yellow, and brown included.
Well, and then
that wasn't the case.
Then you would have had undivided, and we would have supported anything that we did.
You wouldn't even have had to initiate a draft because people would have been like, I'm signing up.
Right.
But because the way you've done this, now it's the point where everybody's looking at you like, y'all were the abusers this whole time, huh?
No doubt. Well, it goes back to you have enabled corporate greed. You have enabled rights being taken away. Like, you could have created what you wanted, and it wouldn't have been that bad. And the thing is, it's funny because I saw something today, like Warren Buffett made a statement. I think he was giving a commencement speech or whatever, and was talking about how if billionaires and corporations paid their fair share of taxes, no American would have to pay any taxes.
Yeah, it was. I saw that.
And like, you want to
He
rally
said not property tax, not tax on your check, not nothing.
And if you want to rally the American people to be in support of whatever the fuck it is you want to do, you got to take care of shit at home first.
But you
right
know what's
now, you're not
crazy
doing
is,
it.
even for him saying that, I don't respect it. I don't respect it at all, because it's like, we knew the game. I'm not going to say we, because there's a lot of delusional people out there, but I was telling y'all they're trying to wring the rag out right now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? McDonald's doesn't give a fuck that their profits are dropping. You know how long they was on top?
Right.
You know who that hurts? That hurts the little guys that bought one of them franchises for $50,000 and trying to keep it afloat. That's who it hurts. But it doesn't hurt McDonald's. McDonald's doesn't give a fuck.
No, they make their money on the franchise payment, not the... Yeah.
You hear what I'm saying? McDonald's doesn't care. They're still wringing out the cloth. They're still like, oh, well, we're still going to collect money until these motherfuckers stop paying us all together.
Yep.
All together is when they feel the hurt. They don't feel the hurt from losing a couple million. This motherfucker brings in $1 billion a year. They used to have it on their sign. billion orders a year.
Over 1 billion served. Yep.
Over 1 billion served, and we know that you made at least 4.
Right.
Because even y'all fat motherfuckers out there is buying enough for 2 and 3 people.
Right.
Let alone the people with families and kids and minivans, and
yeah,
they're buying even more. You feel me? So y'all make enough that it doesn't fucking matter if y'all lose a couple million. But Warren Buffett, to wrap it all the way around, it strikes me as pussy, because it makes me feel like a rich motherfucker who was like, yeah, I was going to wring the rag out, but now I'm starting to see that that's not going to work either. So let me try to get back on their side and explain what could help. But you haven't done it, bitch. You could do it by yourself.
He more than others has.
He has. I know.
At least attempted.
And
Gates has too. Like, as much as I think that's a creepy dude, like the Gates family has the Gates family has given up half of their wealth like 3 times.
Strategically given up half of their wealth. I'm not
arguing that, but you don't see fucking Bezos doing that. You don't see Elon doing that.
Because they're new.
You didn't see Jobs doing that. You didn't see Zuckerberg doing that. Like,
and Jobs is because he provided something. He provided shit. I'm making you phones. I'm giving you designs.
Well,
what has Bill Gates provided?
All those people would argue that. Like, and if you didn't have Bill Gates, you don't have the technology revolution. Computers never would have been adopted.
He hadn't provided shit. It would have been adopted. It would have been adopted.
Hey, Cliff.
Cliff.
What operating system's on your computer right next to you right now? Windows. A Microsoft product. Though? I'm just saying.
That's another form.
But no, you brought up Jobs.
Form of brainwash.
It's the exact same thing Jobs did.
That's another form of brainwash, though, because because Jobs created his product, and his product eventually became the mass wanted product. But they don't offer much else but Windows.
You get a Mac at twice the cost.
But that's what I'm saying. They don't offer. Even back before Apple came out, there was nothing offered really other than Windows.
I mean, Apple and PC have both been around pretty much the entire time.
What I'm getting at is, if it was a fair market, we don't know that there wouldn't have been a better operating system than Windows that we wouldn't have adopted. So you haven't done shit for anybody other than monopolize the market to where you were the only thing. You're AEP. You're Columbia.
Yeah.
We have no choice but to use you. So don't act like you did something for us. If anything, what you did was you blocked out the competition so we wouldn't know what was better or worse.
That's fair. Which is why they've been through antitrust lawsuits like
exactly
30 times.
Because when you're the only one, you get to abuse the consumer.
True.
You don't have anyone else. I do what I want.
But I don't think that I mean, I'm not going to say they've never price gouged, but I don't feel like they have ever been the leaders in price gouging.
No, I wouldn't think so at all. But doesn't that make you look innocent? Right?
True.
If you like, I'm gonna monopolize it. There's nobody else but me, but I'm not going to jump at price gouging. You know who has to price gouge? People who have competition. Because if you have no competition, what's the point of me price gouging? They have no choice. They have to come to me.
Well, but that's even more reason to price gouge.
No, not really. Especially not at the time that you came up.
True, because then
by the time we hit Windows 11 and 12, it makes sense.
You would have destroyed the industry if you had tried to price gouge it.
Exactly. These motherfuckers play it right. I'm not dumb. I see what's going on. I'm just not smart enough to articulate it like they do. But I see exactly what's going on. Don't act like you're some hero because you gave us Windows and then you went out and bought all the water the world's ever seen. Nah, nigga, you gotta pick one of them to get over on. Not me, though.
Right.
And my whole thing is, like I said before I went back to my inadvert. You sent me the cities or the state's most richest men in the state.
Yeah.
And these motherfuckers is getting up to like 97 billion and all that. The only thing that I would have liked better than that post is that exact same post with these motherfuckers'
home address. How'd I know that's where you were gonna go with?
Because you're public figures, bitch. We need to know where you're at, just in case we need to go tap that bank account because you ain't doing shit.
Right.
I didn't even know motherfuckers had money like that. 97 billion? 97 billion, you got to come up off of 50. You have no choice or die.
And it needs to go to the state that you live in.
Period. Come up off of 50 or die. Those are your only choices. There's no reason for you to have $97 billion. What are you doing with it?
Right.
People are starving. What are you doing with it? If you're not willing to give up half of it to help the situation, and half is a pretty, extreme, but you've lasted a long time with it. So
no,
if you're not willing to give up at least a third of your current earnings or worth to help the situation, you need to go.
No,
we need to get you out of there.
And this goes back to my platform of tax corporations, tax corporate profit at an increasing rate, and tax anybody that makes over 500 million. Don't tax anybody else.
Yeah, that's definitely the case.
Because that
over
right there,
I didn't know that much money existed for real.
Because at that point, like, you more than make up for, the family of four down the street that can barely afford housing right now. Like, there's no reason for it.
You make up for listen.
No, it goes back to what Warren Buffett said. He said if we paid our fair share in taxes, meaning a 30%, 40%, 50% rate, just billionaires.
30%.
It makes up for every other American citizen making less than $1 billion.
And that's what he's leaving out. Another reason why I say pussy, because you're not explaining the shit exactly. You're just saying we can alleviate taxes. So the people get hung up on taxes and they're like, well, if they alleviate taxes, that helps. Nah, bitch. If y'all did what y'all needed to do in taxes, every person in America would have that fucking what's it called system that the Andy Yang was talking about.
Yep.
Yeah, you would have that. And they would still have money to spare.
Yep.
So he's a hoe. Either way it goes, I don't care how much you give away your money to, you're strategically giving it away. That's why it's never trickled down to the people.
Right.
That great lie that you've given to us since the 1960s. So be a hoe and think that you're doing well and know that eventually your judgment day will come and people will be like, oh, you thought you was nice, huh? You thought you was helping the people, huh? How much money did you have?
Right.
So I'm trying to change myself, right? I'm trying to eliminate the scorn, the disdain. You know what I'm saying? because that ain't nothing but the devil to me. But again, at the same time, I will continue to preach. It's our job to protect the earth.
Yeah.
It's our job. You know what I'm saying? God may have created us and God may be in all of us, but he's not here to protect the earth.
Right.
That's our job.
I saw a great video, a great TikTok the other day, and I can't remember if I sent it to somebody or somebody sent it to me, but it was, we are God's forgotten save file.
No, we're not forgotten.
He created this world. He clicked save. He walked away. The game's still running in the background.
That's funny, but it's not. It's not forgotten. It's not forgotten. These are the dues that we gotta pay.
Fair.
These are the dues that we gotta pay. You know what was crazy? That video that I sent you when I was watching dudes live. I don't even know what made me get to it. Remember I shared it?
Yeah, you did. You sent me, dude. Yeah, you sent me somebody who was doing something live, and I was like, well, one, I'm glad I saw this right away, but two,
I almost followed him.
Almost.
I just don't like it. I don't like that word. I don't like it. But the reason why I brought him up was because I mean, he was saying some shit. Like, he was saying, like, some wild shit that I could understand a lot of people not understanding. And if he was telling the truth.
So, for our viewers, this was a dude who was basically talking like he was an alien.
No. So, he was basically saying that he was saying what we know to be true. He was saying, I am the Son of God. Not saying like I'm Jesus.
That we all
right.
are.
We're all sons of God, but we haven't tapped into our potential. And he was basically answering questions and shit that was in the chat. And they was asking him, where do you get your knowledge? And he was like, well, we all have the knowledge. You just haven't gotten close enough to be able to tap into it. But my God speaks to me directly. And he was basically saying that there are a few chosen. And that's why I sent you that one where it says, you come out of your, how did it go? You come out of your worldly consciousness and realize all of the contracts you accepted when you came to this earth. That's exactly what it is. He said, the people chose to come during this time.
Yeah.
So like us, the people that are born here, whether we remember or not, we chose to come through this time because we knew what was coming. And those people are the ones who are supposed to be the soldiers of God. But if you're not, I don't even want to use the word saved, because the word saved, I think to a lot of people, they think baptized in religion, and it has nothing to do with religion. We've already talked about religion is one of the most divisive things the world's ever seen.
Yeah.
Jesus wasn't talking about religion when he was preaching his gospel back in the day. There was no Lutheran, Pentecostal, non-denominational. No, he was talking about being a good person to everyone else.
Right.
And we lost sight of it because the powers that be tried to rock us to sleep by, involving the churches and tax exempting them to make them preach what they wanted them to preach. Yeah. But at the end of the day, he was just saying, getting to know your inner self to a point that you become closer to your creator. And he said, again, that's why I said we haven't paid our dues, because we're still babies in this, even this earthly world. We ain't even 40 yet in this earthly world.
Right.
So the ones that chose to come, clearly, if you believe, knew what you were getting into.
Yeah.
You just didn't know how hard it was going to be. Now we understand the difficulty that we're up against, and certain people choose to fold, and those are the ones that stray away from God. And even though I talk strong, like I'm wanting to fight, and that's probably because that's how I was raised. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't know a manifested fight. I only know physically fighting.
Right.
And I know that might not be the right way to be, even though the fight is at hand, if that makes sense. You know what I'm saying?
No, I think I do.
You don't need brawn in a situation like that. You
No,
need brain.
You need brain and you need
You
heart.
need loyalty. You need somebody that we need to know that you're not turning back when the line gets scary to hold up front.
Yeah.
And all I know is earthly realm fighting. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I've read the Bible, I pray daily, but I don't know that I've gotten as close as I would like to be to what's out there. So when I hear somebody speak like that, I look for holes in your game. And I didn't really find too many holes in his game. And that's why I was like, ugh.
Yeah.
Like, if he is telling the truth, it's a lot scarier than I thought. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're in for a lot tougher of a go than what I thought was.
Which actually,
take place.
it's interesting. Like, oh, what was the stat? I think it was something. It may have been Billy Carson. It may have been some other video, but it was basically like a strand of DNA.
Oh yeah, the helix. Oh no, that was Terrence Howard.
Was it Terrence Howard? Holds like
Yeah.
9.2 petabytes of information, and coincidentally, that's
No,
what you
that
would need
was-
to codify
that was-
the Earth. Or
That
you
was
need to
Sleepy Eyed Billy.
Yeah, that you need to codify the universe, and so we
He
have.
said we're
the universe.
basically hard drives. We're
Right.
walking hard drives, and we carry, what he say, 1.3 billion years of information
Something
in
like
our
that, yeah.
DNA that we can't access.
Right. Yep. It was something along that line. It was basically like we hold enough information in our DNA to have all of the data available to us in like 68 billion years of the universe existing,
Right.
or whatever.
And
it
you
is.
know what? If you could tap into a third of that,
Right.
you would be back close to God.
Yep.
You would be back close to God. Did I ever send you that one that I saw it this week? I don't know if I sent it to you or not, but it was this woman telling a story about a 4-year-old baby that they had, and they were welcoming in a newborn, and the baby was born. They had just brought it back to the house, and the son was, introduced to the baby. And I guess the son, and I don't know how true it is, but it makes me wonder. Like, this didn't seem so weird to me, but said the son was like, "Can I speak to my baby brother alone?" And the parents was kind of weirded out, like, well, like, kind of weird, but okay.
Yeah.
So they let him go in there, and they cracked the door and was watching him from the door, like, basically making him think he was alone. And they said that the parents heard him say, "Quick, tell me who you are and tell me where you came from. I'm starting to forget my connection with where I was."
All right. I saw one similar to that. That was like a 3-year-old who seemed to be like super advanced linguistically,
Right.
and basically said that like this wasn't her home.
Right.
They took her somewhere, and she's like, "No, this is where I belong." Like, and it was some place that had been abandoned for 30 years or whatever, 40 years, whatever the case is.
Uh-huh. It's like that chick that I think they talked about her on, I can't remember.
That's something that I'm curious about, like, having the ability to tap into that. And it goes back to, like, the spirit form. Does it come back?
Well, see,
How
that's the thing.
often does it come back? Does it have to come back? Is that a choice?
I don't think it does
back?
come back until you bring it back. You
Well,
know what I'm
that's
saying?
what
Like,
I mean. Is it, like, a choice for that being to come back to solid form?
definitely, because I think it's the further you come from the light. You fall from grace when you're born, and when you die, they say go back to the light.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's a situation where you fall from the light when you're dropped into the womb of your mother, and You're remembering all of that. What else could keep you comfort in a dark ass sack full of water and you're an air breathing being?
Yeah.
That has to be traumatizing in itself for people, and for some reason you're comfortable. You're comfortable
you
while
get
you're
frustrated when you have a 20-second loading screen, let alone a 9-month loading screen.
You hear what I'm saying? And I just gotta stay here in the dark, eating what she eating.
That you reinitializing your hard drive at that point.
You hear what I'm saying? So that I feel like that would be the only thing that would keep you comfort is your connection to your creator. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, because I would need somebody in my ear to get through that situation as an adult.
Right.
Keeping me in a sack that I can't even stretch my legs out in, and I'm in the dark all the time. Even in the sunlight, it's just completely dark for me. So I would imagine the world itself, just the people that have populated it prior, whether they have been walking with or against God, would form your mentality to a point that would pull you from your natural way of being.
Yeah.
Because your natural way of being is pure, right? You don't really survive here pure.
No.
That's the point of repentance, because you won't be around long if purity is all you have. Because purity will bring you to a van if somebody holds out candy.
Right.
Purity will put you in a lot of bad situations if you're not expecting the outcome.
Right.
And you learn from going through life, oh, I can't do that. I can't do that. And that's not what your creator said. Your creator said you could. So when you get here and you see you can't, you're like, well, whoa.
Whoops.
Should I continue or should I get safe with what I know to be true here? And I feel like all of that just pulls us away, and eventually we got to find our way back. Because this shit didn't happen out of nowhere.
No.
Give a fuck what nobody said. Even if you believe in a big bang, what threw the rocks together?
No doubt.
These motherfuckers had to build a hydrogen collider to try to do it now. So what did it back in the day? What naturally did it? You think naturally that shit just happened, or you think somebody eased it along its path to make it take place?
No doubt. Well, and that's always been the hole in the Big Bang Theory is what caused the Big Bang, right?
Exactly. There has to be something that made it in all of this infiniteness that took place.
Well, it goes back to the Hermetic philosophies of the all and as above, so below. That's the reason why our DNA has enough data in it to capture 68 billion years.
And then what's even crazier about that is when you see people actually do the things that you're supposed to do to get closer to unlock that DNA, we call them crazy.
Right.
You out there hugging trees and walking around barefoot and, you know, sitting in silence, thinking and breathing. That's all weird to us. You might fuck around and get committed.
Yeah.
You might get committed in this world we live in if you doing that. They had a whole term for them during the war, tree huggers. Now, it's ironic that you chose to use that term when you were talking about people that were just fighting for peace.
Well, and that goes back to recently in the whole Heinz Hall song. Like, what's wrong about, why is it criminal to want peace? Because we don't want peace. We want discord and disharmony so that powers that be can remain powers that be.
And that's another thing I say, right? I've always said that, and I know I've talked about it in the past. If it was a zombie apocalypse situation, I would be the Daryl.
Yeah.
I would be the guy that would, I'll come stay with y'all for a little bit, but I got to go on my own too. I can't be around a lot of people like that. You know what I'm saying? And I think that that's what we've also been brainwashed into thinking that we need people at all times.
You know, it's see that is
because the fight is with yourself. Yourself is who you have to get to know. That's who you have to conquer.
See, I go back and forth on that because, and some of this is, you know, Catholic school upbringing and learning that being part of the community is being one with God. And that being on your own in isolation or, you know, surrounding yourself with material things and not people takes you further from God.
Definitely.
And so I've got mixed feelings on that from that perspective. However, I do think that in order to fully embrace the aspect of community, you have to embrace yourself first.
I understand what you're saying. I had to process that for a
Yeah,
second.
yeah.
But see, I also feel like, so what do you do then, right? Because if you're created that, I don't mean created. If you're raised that way, when you're born into the community. First thing you do coming up is help, work, and you ask yourself, why do we do this?
But that's also why I think today has corrupted that, and we have become. I don't want to say loyal to a company because I don't think anybody's loyal to a company these days because companies aren't loyal to us. But we have destroyed communities.
Well, I'm saying this.
We don't have. I agree with that in this country right now.
No, I agree. I agree with all that. But I'm saying this is, if I'm immediately brought into the community, even if that community is just your bloodline, your family, then I'm raised that community depends on me as well as I'm dependent on that community. Which is already a falsehood.
But that's also why they've destroyed families over the years. They've incentivized, and I don't want to go completely conservative male who's divorced here. Like, they have incentivized divorce. They have incentivized tearing families apart.
Right. Incentivize government assistance as opposed to getting it yourself, all that. Right. When the money that you make is so close to government assistance, then why not take that and leave the fatherless, homeless situation for the same amount of money, not having to work?
Right. Or you know, and
it's not the same amount of money, but it's just
even not going to that extreme, but like
it might be.
It may be.
Now that I think about
it. I think about the fact that I'm paying, you know, $1,500 a month in support for one child. And I hear about people who pay generally like, you know, $200, $300 a month. And like, I get that's driven by salary and that kind of stuff, but it's not that. And it's
like, I pay about that.
I could do it on my own.
Extra expenses.
Much cheaper. Well, no, that's the thing is that I do $1,500 a month and then I pay 70% of every fucking expense that comes up. And I mean, I just look at it.
Well, that's a part of a bigger.
Right. But I just look at it as I'm paying tuition to keep my kid out of Columbus City schools.
I mean, I just look at it as if you needed more and I had it, you got it.
Right. Well, especially if it's for my kid. Like,
exactly. And I don't and keep it a buck, even if you chose not to use it on them and you continue to ask. That I still have to provide, right?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And while I would like to say that I would take a stand and say no, I haven't. So I'm with
now
you.
what they should do is, if you're not gonna pay child support to the specific significant other, you should be able to prove what you're doing with that money. And if you're investing it into a life insurance plan or depositing it into a savings account, I feel like that should count equally.
I agree.
Unless your significant is in a situation where they need that to survive, then that's different. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But otherwise, if it's a situation where, because people definitely check, if it's comfortable on both ends, then I should just be able to prove what I'm doing with this money.
Right.
And if this money is going to benefit more long term the way I'm managing, that should be okay in the eyes of the court. There really shouldn't be a fucking reason that the court's involved, but there's too many fuck people out here.
Well, no doubt, because they want their cut.
It's not even about their cut, because let's keep it a buck. If we got rid of them all together, there would be niggas that would just be popping out babies and would be nowhere to be found.
That's fair. Yeah. But that's the thing, is that the system
and I say niggas, but
the system
for
is
people
designed
listening,
for them.
that's
not
all
for,
racist. That's not just
right. No doubt. But the system is designed to address the 10%, maybe 20% that would do that versus the 80% that want to do the right thing for their child.
I don't even think it's that. I don't think it's that big a margin. I would go closer, especially nowadays. I would go closer to 65-35.
Would you?
Yeah, especially nowadays. Nowadays, you got women,
and maybe my problem is that I don't know any bad dads.
Yeah, I mean and if you know,
maybe that's because I don't associate with people like that. Like
you base things on your bubble,
right?
You definitely base things on your bubble, but yeah, no, I would have to go 65-35, and a lot of it is because you got to think about how the women are acting like men now, and I don't mean that in the sense of masculinity. I mean that in the sense of feeling free with their body. Feeling like, oh no, I fucked you, you ain't fucked me. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. It was a trend on TikTok where women were seeing how many dudes they could sleep with in a day or on a trip,
which is not impressive. Like,
a girl was like, I might get one on the plane on the way back home, and I'm like,
I saw, and it may have been Pearl, like the redhead skinny white girl that does a bunch of like pro men content on TikTok.
I know you talking about.
But like, it's not impressive for a woman to sleep with 7 dudes. It's impressive for a dude to sleep with 7 women.
It's not impressive. That's not impressive either. It's a tougher feat for sure.
That's what
now
I mean.
That nigga was playing Ninja Warrior. You were just out shopping and had opportunities that you didn't turn down.
Right.
At that point, it becomes harder to say no than yes.
Right.
But for a guy, you got to pursue your yeses. So I understand what you're saying, but it's not impressive on either side. Like what
impressive maybe
what
the
are
wrong
you
word,
trying to do other than speed up the realization you may need therapy, sex therapy? You know what I'm saying? Like, because you don't, what's enjoyable about 7 different girls in a day? Other than like the power, I guess, of ego of saying I did
it's the ego stroke.
What's enjoyable about that?
There's
absolutely nothing enjoyable about that.
It's just the ego stroke.
Right. And that's not, who cares? Who really cares?
You know, as a pleasure dom, Cliff, the ego stroke is all I really look for.
Well, in the bedroom, it's different because you're dealing with your significant or your significance.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you have to be, even though you may be, and I'm not gonna say you. Well, I say you because I'm speaking to you.
Right.
It's just no Diddy this next shit, but even though you, and I'm speaking you as in me as well, feel like you have the knowledge to do whatever it is you need to do to your significant to get them there. You still like to be let know you're on the right track.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't even know how did we get here? What was that?
Here's the flip side.
That was a very
circling back to the pleasure dom comment. I'm not necessarily going to get off it with taking it to those 7 women. I'm not going to get off with all 7, but I bet you I get them off. Like,
I see
that's the
what-
ego stroke for me, is that for me, the ego stroke in getting a partner off is bigger than me getting off.
Oh no, right. You are absolutely correct. Because even if I was trying, even if I was focusing on you first, 7, 4 of you ain't getting shit.
Right.
4 of you, this is halftime. This is quarter. This is in between a quarter.
And in my case, it might be twice. It might be.
Come on, man.
I got no problem.
Come on.
Providing,
7?
I've got no problem providing that often, but me getting off more than twice, that's not happening. Not at this age. I'm too in my own fucking head. Oh man, I don't know how we got here.
How drunk I am. I guess that's
more power to you. 2 is a struggle. 3 is unheard of at this point.
Well, it depends. All that depends. But that's a different lesson. We ain't got Dr. Ruth in here, but that all depends.
Oh man!
But what were we talking about? That's what I'm saying. I don't know. I've never even heard that.
We went from being closer to God to that. So
listen. Sometimes they take you on paths that you need to go through to get to where you need to go. I want to know where that term even came from. I've never heard that before in my life, and I know you've used that before.
What
in
term?
Your current situations, huh?
What term?
Power dom.
What is that? It was pleasure dom.
Pleasure dom. Okay.
That means I have no problem taking control, and my taking control isn't about me; it's about you.
Okay, that makes sense.
Like,
okay,
I'm gonna pin you down.
Right.
And then I'm going to go to town on you.
Right. But that doesn't necessarily mean that I get it.
That I'm getting off and all that. Yes.
Right,
correct.
right. I get that. Okay. I've never... See, y'all are known for labels. Y'all gotta put a name to shit. Why is it gotta have a name? Why does everything have to be named? Some things you just have to achieve. You don't need to name it.
I am
and
seeing...
then they just be like, can you do that one thing tonight?
That one thing? Can you do it? Just do it like Chad does it. You seen that Taylor Tomlinson video? Women are scared to ask for what they want because the only reason they know what they want is because somebody else has done it to them.
That's like that one. Did I send that to you? I think I sent it to you where he was like, if your girl's ever made you a sandwich and you ain't tell her what you wanted on your sandwich, and she put more than meat and cheese on that sandwich, she just made you another nigga sandwich.
Facts.
That shit.
But she may not be wrong because men are simple creatures.
You know what? That's what I'm saying. Like, don't get me wrong. Even if you got some shit that I ain't like on that sandwich when I took the first bite, I'm just like...
Honestly, I can't remember the last time a woman made me a sandwich anyway, so...
I can't either.
Right? See?
I can't either.
To
be fair to the women, it's not like they wasn't cooking meals. It's just like just making a sandwich. Like, yeah. You're absolutely correct. But I mean, again, like I say, to be fair, like they was probably making something or putting something up for a nigga, but making me a sandwich, and I don't think anybody's ever taken my sandwich order. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't think anybody's like, well, I'm about to, what you want in your sandwich? Like, that seems like family. Like, family's always been like my grandma or my mom, but I don't know that a woman's ever asked me what I would like on my sandwich.
I'm with you. And speaking of sandwiches and women, Did you guys talk about Harrison Butker on the podcast on Wednesday?
Harrison Butker, who's that?
The kicker for the Chiefs.
I knew that was a kicker. What happened? No, what happened? I didn't even know nothing about that.
You haven't seen that he gave a commencement speech at a college.
Uh-huh.
Basically telling women that if they followed their career, that they were making a mistake and that they should basically be nothing but housewives and barefoot and pregnant in the kitchen. And it wasn't quite that bad, but it was almost that bad.
I know, but see, that's the thing, though. That's the thing, because I see both sides in a situation like that.
Oh, no.
No, I really do. I really do. And I'm not trying to like advocate for whatever he said. I didn't even hear it. But what I'm saying is, what he thought he was saying is he found beauty in the fact that a woman could fulfill her duties. Because at the end of the day, women they definitely should. You should work. You hear what I'm saying? Even if I paid the bills, you still should work. So you have your own money, your own shit. But it's a different, the corporate world is a different animal. You know what I'm saying? And I understand most women's natural gift is the nurturing gift. And most women will say they feel more fulfilled taking care of their family than taking care of their boss at work. So it's not your place to say that, I'll say first.
Well, and on top of that, think about the audience. You're giving a speech
at the college
commencement.
That they've already chosen. They already chose their role, and that's not what that is.
Right.
I'm headed into corporate America, and you're like, I should have kids? Fuck the diploma?
It's more know your audience. Well, and on top of that, let's face it,
and you're a professional fucking football player. You got bread. Everybody doesn't have the bread to be able to take care of their woman 100.
Well, and why do you think we've seen the inflation we've seen since, let's call it the 1960s, 1970s?
I don't know why.
Because women have entered the workforce. And the expectation is a 2-income household.
That's interesting. That is interesting.
And so
that is actually a thought that never crossed my mind.
Instead of getting half the country's labor,
you're getting
America's corporations are getting all of the country's labor.
Right. I expect it all. Right.
Right. And that's not to say that, I had a very powerful woman for a mother, as did you, both of whom worked their entire lives, and that's
all my mom did was work.
We are both proud of them. However, now you're starting to see this. That's honestly, and we talked about the drizzle movement.
I'm angry too, though. I'm proud as hell of my mom, but I'm angry that even somebody like her, straight out of college, worked for the job for more than 40 years and didn't even get to live 1 year retired.
Yeah.
Not 1 year without having to work.
Right.
That's what makes me angry the most. And it doesn't make me angry at life. It makes me angry at the corporations. It makes me angry at the greedy people on top.
Amen.
That's where I'm like, get right. Just relax and get right. Lose some of that scorn.
They're talking about raising the retirement age. If
anything,
they should be lowering the retirement age.
Let me tell you something.
Wait. Find me the candidate who is going to vote for lowering the retirement age to 55 versus increasing it to 75. And they have my vote.
I can't even do what I want to do, right? I can't even do what I want to do. Because I want to, I don't post on Instagram or Facebook and TikTok, and it's ironic because of what we do kind of involves that.
Right.
But if I did, they wouldn't keep it up anyway.
Your content
because
would be
that
blocked,
would be all
taken
my
down.
posts. Like y'all so focused on the Met Gala and these celebrities. No, these motherfuckers. These is the motherfuckers with billions of dollars, and they make rules in your city. So if you see them out in public, smack the shit out these niggas. Like, let them know you're fed up. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
and they gonna take that down because that's promoting violence. But you gotta crack a few eggs to make an omelet.
Well, this goes back
to
a
nigga get smacked a few times, he like, I came out 3 times this week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and I took 3 smacks.
Well, we've talked about that on the show multiple times. This goes back to our $500 million rule. You make $500 million, you got to prove to us that you deserve to keep it.
Campaign why you need more.
And you don't get to hide behind politicians anymore who are basically your front man, your paid associates. Nah, you gotta come in front and talk about it.
That's how ignorant I am, right? Like on a very small level, because when you sent that video of the richest people in the States, and I knew some of them was basketball players,
which I can actually get behind.
Basketball team owners, I meant. Not players themselves, but the team owners. And I was like, damn, I thought that was as high as it got for real. You know what I'm saying? And then the video kept going, and it kept going. And I was like the dude with the contract, like, damn. It just kept going. And when I saw it get up into the 90 billions, at that point the damn stopped, and I was just like, oh.
I'm with you. They should have published that video with home addresses for every single one of them.
You got to at that point. You got enough money, move, motherfucker. You not that safe. What the nigga said? I ain't even going. That shit funny as fuck. I can't think of dude's name. Dude from Chicago. He said one of the people popped on his live that he was beefing with. He said, "Let me see them floors." He said, "Them what?" He said, "Oh." He said, "I ain't even." The other dude said, "I ain't even trying to go there with you right now." He said, "Listen, I'm gonna tell y'all something. Winchester and Green Lawn, 7th floor." He said, you need to get a new address. You're not that safe. And dude just jumped off. He jumped off with a lie. That's the funniest shit I seen. I watched that shit like 10 times, almost pissing on myself.
Well, and
that's what needs to happen, though, is what I'm saying.
For any college students out there who wants the... Honestly, unfortunately, Israeli genocide of Palestine is complete. You're looking for your next cause. I want you to go picket out front of your local billionaire's house.
There's one in every state.
And fucking encroach.
And I tell you what, if you think UCLA can't manage all them tents on their property, see what happened when you post up outside of billionaires real quick.
Just go 10 up on the Wexner lawn or whoever.
You hear what I'm saying? That's why Dave Thomas was smart before he died. He said, "I'm buying an island on Buckeye Lake because I see where this shit is going." He said, "Wendy, I'm setting you up for success. Ain't no way you can fuck this up."
I'm serious though. Like, if people are looking for their next cause, go set up on a billionaire's lawn.
Do you hear me? But that's the difference, is the college campus is public. The billionaire's lawn is private.
And
you better have enough people in tents out there that they don't know who to take first, because you gonna get arrested. That's a real protest. Right. What y'all doing here is, I mean, I'm not saying what you're protesting isn't real. I'm just saying it's not a real
It's not a real threat.
This city's
because
Selma.
Yeah.
And listen, motherfuckers been trying to jump in on black struggles since black struggles came about. Start protesting like Selma.
No doubt.
Fuck your color. You know what you protesting for. If you really feel it that way, start doing that. Then I guess you part of the struggle. Then you can say, I was one of those white people that rode the Alabama bus line and got my ass whooped as soon as I got off. Every day I went to work, I had a black eye and my tie was loose, but I still made it and I rode that bus back home. Got my ass whooped before dinner too. I don't know how many tiki torches I saw on my way to my job, but they beat me with them. Man. And now, listen, Bernie Sanders did that shit. They took that one picture. That might be the only time he was out there, but they seen him in cuffs. Now look at him. Niggas is like, hey, Uncle Bernie. Mm-hmm. But the truth is, as much as I love Uncle Bernie, I don't trust you either, motherfucker. You just sound better than all the other motherfuckers.
Well, and that's not hard, right?
You hear me? But you expect me to trust? That's just not in our cards right now. We're all out. Our bank account is completely depleted of trust at the moment. So you're gonna have to print some more, like you've been doing. But I ain't got nothing else.
I got nothing else either. Although I will say, as much as, and I don't know when she's up for re-election, but Joyce Beatty, it's time to go.
Beatty. What is she?
She's the House of Representatives representative from Columbus, Ohio.
For Ohio.
Yeah.
Okay.
And she's also like 70. Strong, older black woman. Don't get me wrong. You've done your bit.
I hate her commercials too.
But she got to go.
I'm Joyce Beatty. I hate them. I hate them. I'm sorry for using that word, but I hate them. I hate her. Every time she up for re-election, that's all you hear on the radio.
I'm Joyce
Beatty. Yeah, like I don't like it. But you're absolutely right. I'm glad you brought that up because that's exactly what I'm talking about. The people that matter in your area.
Right.
You should know them prior to knowing the Kardashians top to bottom.
No doubt. Well, and that goes back to, it's funny because Killer Mike was on The View probably a month or two ago.
Uh-huh.
And he was talking about the same thing. They were trying to get him to basically acknowledge support for Biden. And he came out and said
he
that
said he wouldn't.
He wouldn't even say he wouldn't. He said, I'm more concerned about my governor, my mayor.
Right.
And I have relationships and conversations with them on the regular. And more people need to think like that.
Yeah. Yeah, you right. It sounded like he wouldn't, but
nah, but that was the even more impressive part. It's a Republican governor.
They was talking about that on Brilliant Idiots.
Yeah.
And it was like, Killer Mike for president. I will put Killer Mike in president.
Yeah, Killer Mike will be killed before he's president.
He sure would. But it depends. It depends. Well, no, he would get killed because they wouldn't allow him to make the changes that he needed to make.
Right.
Fuck the Secret Service. I'm not doing no Secret Service. I'll get a couple of y'all in here, but I'm bringing in the people I rock with.
I'm bringing my own.
Yeah, my security. I trust my security to protect me.
You better read them in.
You
better read them in as Secret Service because this is my chief of.
And that's security. The only option. You don't have an option.
Right.
I won't step out this White House until they're with me.
Well, it's the same
That's
thing.
it.
It's the same thing with like RFK right now, right?
RFK has more reason to do it because they're denying him Secret Service.
Right.
So let him win. All y'all fired.
Everybody
out of there.
No doubt.
Everybody's gone. I'm bringing in all of my people because y'all wasn't going to protect me before.
All the things that Trump promised, I actually believe RFK will do. When you talk about drain the swamp, and that's, don't get me wrong, like, I also get that he comes from.
I believe he'll start, but it'll take more than him to do it, and I don't know if he'll get 2 terms.
Right. No, I agree
but
with that.
I do believe he'll start it. And that may be what'll happen is he'll get so much of a response from the people that the next person, even though they don't want to, will have to still keep a little bit of that into their, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it'll keep going down the line. Because we, like they said, they wasn't lying. We're in the unveiling.
Yeah.
Everything is being unveiled.
Well, either democracy will be completely, and I'm not saying it has to do necessarily with this election, but I do believe it'll happen within this decade. Either democracy will completely fail and we'll end up in an authoritarian regime, whether that's Biden or Trump, either one, or we will move past the 2-party system. And beyond that, it's funny because I saw a video from, and I know we said we were gonna close this out, but I saw a great video from Andrew Yang earlier today, actually, where he was talking about ranked voting versus single candidate voting. And it basically means that if you are forced to vote for one candidate, you end up with one result, versus if you can stack rank candidates, like 1, 2, 3, 4,
you get more points.
You end up with a different result.
I see what you're saying. That makes more sense.
Exactly. And you actually end up with a more representative democracy.
Andrew Yang might actually have been on to something.
I mean, universal income, that in terms of ranked voting. He's had a couple other.
That I don't know. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but that specifically, I don't think we were at that point then.
Right.
We're at that point now.
Yeah.
If he would have ran on that now,
it would have been a different.
No fucking Trump, Biden, nothing. He's in there.
The fact,
and then he would have to explain to us why he can't fulfill that.
Right, the universal income.
Because he wouldn't have been able to do it. But he would have got in off of it. I guarantee that.
Well, and his whole point is that I think he said it would cost like $200 million to basically institute that for senators, House of Representatives, and president, and that the budget for basically federal money for elections is closer to like $500 million or a billion.
Makes perfect sense. That's the reason why he wasn't able to get close to the White House, because the day that happens is the start of Civil War II. Because he gets into office, he asks for extra taxes, all that for the billionaire. People start refusing. Now it's like the have-nots are like, oh, y'all won't, we've been paying for all these years and y'all won't foot the bill this time? Okay, now we're upset. That's why they wouldn't do it, because that would have started off everything.
Yeah.
Should have happened either way. Didn't matter who came in next. It should have happened.
So I know, and you brought this up earlier around the text thread with me, you, Shelby, and Gordon. Gordon sent that video of modern monetary theory, and I know you didn't look at it.
No, I didn't. But explain it.
But modern monetary theory is basically the fact that money doesn't really matter. It's an invented construct.
No, you're right.
And it's all about the fact that
look at bricks.
All you have to do is put whatever your actual resources are towards a cause.
We don't have any.
The money takes care of itself. No, but we do.
Espionage.
Because we do have.
Our dollar would be backed by espionage.
Well, it's not even about the dollar being backed. It's basically saying the dollar and gold really are inconsequential, and it's all about.
Gold isn't.
Are really inconsequential because it's all about the resources to actually build the things that you're talking about. And so we could fund electric vehicles by taking tax dollars away from something and giving them to EVs and basically turn our economy around. Or we could fund climate change initiatives. We could fund all these things by basically that the dollars aren't real.
Though.
That's the whole point of modern monetary theory.
Here's what people aren't
what
thinking
is a
about,
dollar?
Though. And we're thinking about this from just the average Joe.
Yeah.
Regardless of how much money we make, we're thinking about it from the average Joe. But the average billionaire, they knows how much money, they know how much money is really circulating in the system.
Right.
They know how much money of theirs really counts and how much is just the addition to their bank account.
Well, that's the whole point about that.
They're not going to give. They'll play with the play money is what I'm getting at. They won't play with the actual money. Once you get down to the brass tacks to the actual dollars I own, I'm not playing with that.
Well, and that's the whole point with modern monetary theory is something like the U.S. debt being, the debt clock being 14 trillion or 18 trillion or whatever it is. Like, that's not really debt. That's the amount of money that's sitting in the private sector. And so what you have to do is incentivize the private sector to spend that money on the things you want them to spend on.
It's not debt as far as I'm concerned anyway, because like we talked about, we don't pay people back.
Right.
You're not getting paid back. Whatever we owe you, you just gonna have to take a loss on. We run off on the plug. Plugs run off on.
Well, that's the whole BRICS.
Nothing back.
That's the whole BRICS thing that you're talking about.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Now they trying to exclude, and they're backing it off of something substantial.
Right.
We have nothing of substance behind our dollar. We just have billionaires with them.
Except for the population and the companies that sit behind it. Namely, the military-industrial complex.
Wouldn't that be interesting, right? What's the name of that story? I know you looked at it. I hope you looked at it. You better alley-oop me. The story about the flower petals that was dying, the rich folks. I sent you that shit on Instagram.
Ooh.
I can't remember the name of it, but it was basically a story of two rich people that were living like above the, everybody's means. And the people were getting upset and they were rushing their house. But every time they pulled a petal from the rose, it stopped time and rewound it to the point that the people rushing would come back further.
Yeah.
But the flowers died and there was only one petal left. And basically they chose to die together. Like they tried to romanticize it, but at the end of the day, you're the fucking goblin.
Right.
You're the goblin. It didn't have to be this way. Like you can still keep your wealth and share with others.
Right. You will still
can still be the one on top. And still have an economy to
fall back.
I don't understand how we got so far gone. I understand it. We're on the path, but
it goes back to my coaching axiom of it's either coached or it's allowed.
That's how you know motherfuckers that actually struggled, that's been in the street, ain't involved.
Right.
You're not involved. I guarantee you if you involve Jay-Z, and I don't even like this nigga, but the fact that I know where he came from, he'd have been like, this doesn't, you gotta feed the people
Well, you
to
understand
get them to spend. They don't spend if you don't feed. You don't get nothing if they don't know that you're not willing to give a little.
True.
But the fact that you just got a whole bunch of rich,
Lab
feel
coats.
my word, lab coats, my nigga, lab coats. They just don't get it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's it.
Which is depressing. So, if you're looking for the next place to protest or the next place to loot, riot, etc., don't do it.
Out.
Don't do it on
Instagram.
don't do it on your local main street. Don't do it in the short north. Go find a billionaire's home.
You hear
and
me?
do it there.
You hear me?
It's time these people realize, as Cliff has stated multiple times in this podcast, you're not as safe as you think you are. And with all that...
Right. And I'm not asking for violence. Nobody needs to get violent. But show them that you see. That's all you got to do sometimes is just let them know that I'm looking.
Right. You don't even have to go on their property. Just camp out in front of it.
Yep. That's what and just look. And just let them know you see them. I would, but my black ass would be the first motherfucking statistic. I'll be the first statistic of the movement. Yeah.
All right, man. What you got to take us out?
It's hard to say, but I will continue to say it. Love everybody. But at the same time, you can love somebody and still whoop their ass at the same time. Think about your parents. Spare the ride, spoil the child. So don't spare the ride on these people. We spoiling them. We've been spoiling them. Now it's time for these rides to get unspurred.
It's time for us to take it back. So, do us a favor. Like, share, subscribe. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Tell an enemy. Tell
that motherfucker to troll.
And with all that, peace out, fools.